with meaning, contextualizing your lesson. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They're very interesting. If you participate live, you can even ask questions, right? But if you watch it later, you can learn about what people asked as well. Some other ideas. You thought it was over? No, no, no. Learning a different language. And this brings a whole new world to the way we see language learning. When we start teaching, isn't it, Yolanda? When we start teaching, we build a set of beliefs. And with time, we become either too lenient, oh no, they don't understand because it's still not time, or too strict. Oh my God, why haven't they learned that yet? And reading, you can actually understand what you're reading, but about learners and the way they learn. But it changes the way you perceive your learners if you sit down and learn a language yourself. But mind you, it has to be a challenging one. It cannot be Spanish. I mean, if it's not challenging for you. For me, it's very challenging. I can choose to learn Spanish because I think I'll never learn Spanish. I can try. But choose something challenging.
But excuse me, because I'm teaching Spanish too. I'm
See?
Brazilian, but she's right. And I'm learning Italian already. Have courses, but
Very
I'm a
difficult.
teacher of Italian. But that's the same thing, because you see, sometimes I don't have discipline because I like Italian, but I have other things to do, and I get out of focus. And this is important that you say. What's more important, because all the language have the same root.
Yes.
And then you realize it. That's not so difficult, and you can understand things that...
And that's why I said not Spanish, because it's the same root. I mean, it will help become closer to our learners, because they have a lot of... they are exposed to the language very often.
That in English you use in Spanish, but it's in Portuguese.
But it's very different.
Yes.
For me, it's impossible.
Yeah, because you see, the Latin you're not used to.
The way they developed, right? Languages are alive.
Some words that you use in English, you use in Spanish, but you don't use in Portuguese. You use in the dictionary, but you don't talk. Yes, that's different.
But choose a language that will be challenging for you. It could be German, for example, right? A language with a different alphabet adds more challenge, but it won't be that realistic, right, for the learners, because they don't have to learn the alphabet. They have to learn spelling. So Chinese, Japanese, they will help. Russian, right? But it's even more challenging. Okay, choose a language you want to learn how to speak from the start. Yeah.
A little bit more, not stressful, because sometimes you speak
Yeah,
the language.
exactly.
You get a little bit out,
And
you get tired.
exactly. And this is going to help you understand students' motivations or their frustrations when they come to class, and you look at them practically asking them, how come you didn't understand? But you say, Grace, let's try again. And they look at you like, oh my God, she's angry at me. Because this happens, right? You say the right things. With practice, we say the right things. But if you don't mean the right things, they're going to understand what you actually meant, not what you said. And learning will help us create more empathy with them. Empathy is key in teaching, right? We talked about experimentation earlier with different approaches, right? Journals. How many of you write journals or take notes about your progress, or keep a notebook where you say, today I learned a new thing? Yeah. Not anymore. Fantastic. How's it going, Hugo?
It's everything okay, because I'm in a mentoring program, and my mentor and I are developing some feedback skills and
Fantastic.
stuff. So I'm writing a journal related to that.
Brilliant. You see? Brilliant. And when you see the power of journal writing, and it could be anything, right? It could be on your phone. I don't know. Some people are very high tech, right? Tech is savvy. And then you can actually write your journals online, a blog. Why not, right? but a notebook to help you develop a specific skill or strategy, something you need to improve, your goal, right? This will be key.
As I told you, when I'm near a hotel, here at the Paulista, I go to the, for instance, Renaissance place there, and then I take this little newspaper from the day, from yesterday, from tomorrow.
Oh.
Sometimes they know me when I go there, and I'll take one okay. And then I read it.
So it's reading.
The language is completely different when they...
Yes, it's true. So you use reading
The genre's language
as a strategy to learn. Yeah. The newspapers, right?
Yeah.
So you use reading as a strategy to improve language or to improve techniques. We can read race or sports, right? And learn how to do something different. Try. Then link reading to experimentation. Oh, so I read about the silent way. Let me try this in my class. It might work. It might not work. But you keep working a different point of view. Yeah. We talked about filming, creating study groups. Hugo is in a mentoring program, so he sits down with his mentor, sometimes with a group of teachers as well, to discuss teaching. Create a study group. Oh, there is no way teachers get together. Create a group, right? It costs nothing except time. To say, Yolanda, let's discuss this. Let's talk about giving feedback. Let's talk about MPF. And let's...
There are plenty of groups on Facebook as well.
Yeah. BRAZ is fantastic for that. It's not a study group, but it's a group of teachers with lots of suggestions every day. And there are BRAZ webinars. I forgot to mention them because I remembered BRAZ-TESOL. BRAZ webinars and BRAZ chats, live chats on Facebook. Look for that. It's BRELT, BRAZ. Okay? Fantastic opportunity. In the teacher's room, make the conversations about teaching. Because the teacher's room, usually, if we do not pay attention to what we are doing, it usually becomes the place of complaints. This group... I'm so tired, isn't it? It does, naturally, because we are human beings. Human beings complain. Human beings complain about other people because it's very difficult to complain about ourselves, right? So we complain about other people. We're perfect, yeah? And as teachers, we complain about the students. We complain about the bosses, right? We complain about the CELTA trainers. We complain, right? Instead of complaining, you go to the teacher's room and say, guys, listen, my lesson was a flop right now. Nobody did the exercise. It was a song exercise. I thought it was going fantastic. But no, they didn't like the song. They couldn't do the activity. Help. Help me. What would you do? What would you have done? And people will start giving their ideas. It's still about the learners, but it's more productive, right? And it takes a mindset, a productive growth mindset, right? To change the atmosphere.
Sorry to return to this meeting. Cultura Inglesa, the British Council, there is a group of meeting.
Yes, fantastic. Every Monday, 6 p.m. There is a reading group in English, an English book, a book in English, and discussions in English. Every Monday. First Monday, isn't it? First Monday of the month. Yeah. Brilliant idea for language development. Sorry? For free. Yeah. For free.
You don't have to go.
Yeah. And they give you the list of books they've read or the ones they're reading. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Action research. So I'm going to study my own practice. So read books, plan what I'm going to research, study what I'm doing, check my development on that. There is a whole plan. And there are books about action research, how to conduct action research, how to involve other people in your project as well. Okay?
Watching CNN, watching BBC.
Watching TV and getting input. Yes. Fantastic, Olivia. Fantastic. Now, you can also choose, it's strange, you can also choose different areas, right, to experiment with. Teaching, you could go into training, and mind you, training is not for everyone. You might be passionate about that, but you cannot talk to other teachers. You can talk to learners. It's not for you. You don't have empathy or the generosity. Not for you. Managing, not for you. If you don't know how to get organized with all the paperwork or everything, right? But it could be. You could choose a different one. Yolanda mentioned writing materials, right? Or you could become a consultant after a while. Who knows? So I've specialized in private lessons. Now I'm going to become a consultant for other teachers or other language institutes. I don't know. Designing courses. Vivi looked at me and said, what else could you do in the field of ELT? Well, we said so many things, right? Yeah. And in teaching, we had the previous one, right? Loads of things under the teaching hat. Lots of different contexts. These are different. They open other fields, other paths, right? What you're going to do now is, you see? I knew there was something missing. Yeah. Doing research, because some people become researchers at university about teaching. Remember, we talked about USP, the Faculdade de Educação. You can become a researcher about teaching. So you observe lessons with the purpose of investigating what goes on, how to build that, or anything. Okay? What we are going to do now is we're going to set a goal, right? We cannot set the same goal. Why not? Exactly. We are different people. How can we set the same goal for everyone, right? Different people at different levels and different times in our careers, right? So I'll give you 1 minute. You can share with a peer if you want to discuss the idea. 1 minute, think of a goal. What kind of teacher do you want to be? What kind of professional do you want to be? Only this. If you could dream, my dream is to be blah, blah. Write this blah, blah. Or share with a peer. So you can have the people in the back that are... Yes, Hugo, I think you have to move to help Yolanda, or Yolanda has to move. See? Good. Okay, good. Okay. Okay. So, just by going round, we have people who are about to start a career in teaching, and people who have already given up teaching, right? Not really, because if she had given up teaching, she wouldn't be here, right? But this is the range we have. Have we all shared our goals, our personal goals? Do you have one? It's a dream, not a goal necessarily, but a dream. This is the kind of teacher I want to be, okay? And you need to know why. Because the why is actually going to give you all the motivation it takes to move and take action. As Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Remember what we talked about, the attitudes in the classroom. It's very easy and very human to be tired and not want to plan the lesson. But if we create the habit of never missing the planning time, excellence is in our path. Okay? But this takes the right mindset. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah. And look at the second one, because this is my favorite, about teaching and about development. This is your comfort zone. And this is where magic happens. This is where magic happens. It's not inside your comfort zone. Comfort zone is what we do right now. Is your dream what you already do and you have nothing to develop or nothing to organize? Because when I was going round, your goal was different from where you are at the moment. Right? So you cannot stay in your comfort zone. Otherwise, magic will not happen. Okay? Does that make sense? Then everybody starts crying like, oh no, I have to move. It's true. Yeah? Something that we need to embrace if we want to develop. And not only embrace, but learn to use is feedback. Okay? For development. Sometimes we are going to hear things that we don't want to hear about ourselves, because maybe it's not the time. And I'll tell you what worked for me. It has been working, actually. Whatever people tell me, I write it down. Whether I understand, whether I agree, whether I hate it or love it, I write it down. So if you're giving me feedback, I'm going to write it down. Why do I write it down? And literally, practically, Chico Xavier writing it down. Because when I read it later, maybe I decide that I hate this thing they told me, and I don't want to work on that at that time. But that is genuine feedback someone gave me, and I want to keep that. And when I started doing that, I might really cry a lot, because that was not exactly what I expected or what I needed at that moment, because sometimes it's not even what you need. Giving feedback is another thing. Sometimes we don't have the necessary empathy to look at the person and consider, or sometimes we don't know. We cannot guess what the person is ready for, right? But if you write it down and you keep it for later, maybe for 10 years, in 10 years you can use that, right? But it's the present someone gave you. Feedback is always a present. And as gifts, sometimes we get gifts we don't really know what to do with or we don't like. And this is feedback. Sometimes people tell you, oh, what a brilliant lesson. And this is a worse gift than telling you it was horrible because there was no MPF, you started with F, and blah, blah, blah. They detail everything that you did wrong in your lesson. It's tiring to hear the person telling you all that. It makes you cry, but it's a better gift in the end. Because telling you that it was brilliant is not really helping. It's actually keeping you in your comfort zone. Do you see the difference? If I tell you, empty praise you, like, fantastic, you did a wonderful lesson, a wonderful job, I might not be helping you at all. I might not be generous at all, right? Because I just want you to be happy now, but I'm not adding anything to your development. Okay? So take all the gifts you can. All the feedback people give you. People, as in students, parents, managers, trainers, mentors, coaches, anyone who comes to you and says, listen, I know you're reading this book, but you should focus on pronunciation first because your pronunciation is horrible. The way the person wraps the gift is not appropriate, but this is their problem. Your problem is, what am I going to do with that? This is the gift they gave you. If they threw it at you, it's a way of giving a gift, right? This is their problem. Your problem is, pronunciation alert. Let me look for a course in pronunciation, or right now, this is not what matters. I will try the silent way for a while. I don't know, right? It could be. But all the gifts you can take them. And everything is feedback when you go crazy. Like, the way people look at you is feedback. If you start Facebooking or twitting during the session, this is feedback to me. Oh my God, I'm too boring. You see? So take everything people tell you, regardless of their issues in the manner, okay? Because this is another issue. Feedback giving is another issue. This is feedback receiving. Okay? Some people enjoy giving gifts so much that they forget about wrapping. So they just throw things at you. You write it down. I actually write it down because my mind goes, and your mind probably does the same because we are human beings, goes a different way. If you tell me MPF was wrong, I go home and I say, did she say wrong or right? Did she say MPF? And I forget about that because I observe it the way I want or the way I can at that time. But later on, I might have a different mind. Some of the things people told me 2 years ago are making sense now. For example, some of the things are immediate. Okay? Does that make sense? You're too quiet. This is the hardest thing to do, okay? And the quote is actually to help us think of the right questions. Because sometimes you get unwanted gifts, right? Or unasked for. But you can also ask for feedback. Listen, Ugo, how was this lesson? Can you tell me how it went? Or look at my plan, what do you think of that? And instead of asking, what do you think of that? You can pursue the right questions. Check my aim here in this lesson plan. Is it feasible in 50 minutes? Okay? The right questions for the things you want to hear. Or the things that you need to hear. Does that make sense?
Yeah. The game was wonderful. They watched to see that it was a chaos.
The iceberg again, all the effort, right?
It was a bad game. They lost everything.
Yeah.
But they watched again, see how many times they have.
Remember the beginning when we said, how do you become a better teacher? You do what people in general don't or wouldn't. Because to become stars, you cannot actually pick fruit every day and just look at the sky and say, I would like to be a star. You have to do something different, right? Because we can do anything. It's our world, right?
And also
as teachers.
After the training, some players stay there.
Yeah, to watch it again and rehearse. Have you chosen in your goals a career path? If you haven't, think of what career path it is inserted in. If it's research, then you have to actually look for university life, maybe. Okay? If it's business English, you will have to talk to people who are also in the business world. If it's teaching young learners, you will need to look for people who either teach young learners or study young learners, teach children or write about children, right? Consider for 1 minute what the challenges are in that path. Let's brainstorm some challenges. Okay? Can we start with Yolanda here? She wants to open a school, right? What would a huge challenge be for her? Sorry? She has to work full time, right? I mean, 24/7. So the competitors are a challenge, maybe a challenge, right? Her insecurities. Yeah.
She knows she wants to.
She must know how to manage it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of competitors around us, and start this way is not easy, but possible.
Excellent. It's possible, but if you don't learn about management,
I
yeah.
think that you need to make the difference. Yes, this is very important now.
This is it. This is it. You want to make a difference. You don't want to be
And I think like he
one
needs to be
more,
able
right?
to teach anytime because that's the problem because as soon as the reason I told my
Mhm.
maybe in the end I'm teaching kids because I teach like teenagers, kids,
Yeah.
adults. When you're a manager, you need to get able to be any places that you can.
exactly.
Not depend on the teachers that is the moment. You need to teach it to know how to teach it and see what
You have to own that role,
yes,
right?
you need to
Yeah.
pass, all kind of
Yeah.
to learning how to
Mhm.
take the
What other paths or goals have we got here in the room?
No, she has to look for help at the Senat.
Oh, building your business. What other goals do we have? Vivi, what's your goal there? Can you share it?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I feel like I just got started. in my career as a teacher.
Like him. Yeah.
But I intend to take my CPD exam at the end of this year. And then I'd like to work at the English for some time. For a
This
period
is the
of
goal,
time,
you see?
because I know that those teachers are like extremely qualified. Actually,
But they're also under construction. Everyone is under construction. There is a lot of development.
Cultura normally pushes us to do that, yeah. And I've been taking part in lift courses.
Fantastic. I was going to ask you what you're doing to actually go for the CPE.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But my dream is like to give class in another country.
Stop.
Okay.
That's a dream.
Yeah.
We've got the dream. I was waiting for the dream. So she wants to do all that, but where does she want to get? She wants to teach somewhere else. That's a dream.
Yeah.
She wants to teach abroad, right? What are the challenges there?
You didn't have a course that you can teach in Brazil.
She took the CELTA already. Yeah. Yeah. Is it as easy as Claudete says? Okay, you've got the CELTA, you can go. No. What are the challenges? What are the challenges? Yes?
First one, you have to pick the right country.
Yeah.
You have to study. You have to get used to the culture. Yeah. You
Brilliant.
have to be able to afford your
Yes,
to
yeah.
live in this country. So it's quite like challenging.
And
Here from Brazil, sorry, you can do you can teach in here.
no, she wants to teach abroad. Yes. Oh, okay, you're thinking of online. You should. Could be. Excellent. See? Very good tip there. Very good tip. That would be a start, and it would take you to a different path. Your dream is closer than you think. Yeah. But it's good that she mentioned the culture, because be it business English or another country or the university life, you need to check what the culture of the place or the environment you are joining is, right? What do people do there, or what will I bring with me to that, okay? And in any case, you will need planning, a lot of planning, right? And oh my God, now I think it moved too much, but I will read with you here. We can read, right? The planning includes the kind of teacher I want to be, okay? For example, it could be a teacher for elementary levels in a different country, okay, for foreign students. So this is one kind. Be very specific. If you say, I want to be a great teacher, how specific is that? It's still not the kind of teacher, okay? I want to be a business English teacher for Paulista executive people, right? There. Fantastic one, right? Or, I don't know, it could be anything. Do you have, this is a very important question there, do you have a role model you could talk to, or you could ask for advice, or you could brainstorm ideas of the courses or other things you can do, right? Is there a role model, someone you look up to, someone who's achieved what you want to achieve? This is a very important question, okay? Because it reminds us that we are never alone. Never ever. In this job, we might be doing something different and we might be growing as a whole group, but we are never alone. There is always someone who's either on the same path or who's there already, and people can help people, okay? Remember that. What kind of courses do I need to take? Do I need to take a specific course? Do I know a course in Senaki that I need to take? Do I take the Delta abroad? Right? It could be anything. Are there business English courses I can take as a teacher? Courses that are specific to my goal there, right? Are there any publications that I need to have access to? Either resource books or newsletters or the papers or research books, which are very, very useful in this case. Do I need tutoring? Is tutoring available to me if I need coaching for that path? Okay, how to build my school? You're probably going to need a coach there, okay? Or do I need a mentor at university to help me on this path, okay? Do I need groups to teach, and what kinds of groups am I looking for? If I go abroad, am I going to teach Chinese students there? So what kind of students will I have? Or do I need to learn about? Because remember, if we are teaching people, we need to learn about those people, okay? Always. You cannot teach the same lesson twice, even if you try, because there are different people there. So if you try to teach the same lesson, it's probably a different one for them. You're doing the same thing. You're not developing, but they are developing in a different way, okay? What kind of skills do I need to develop? Managing skills, teaching skills, more repertoire to go abroad and teach a diverse group of learners, skills to teach online, as Claudette mentioned. So do I need to develop camera talking skills? I don't know, like I haven't developed them, for example, as you can see, right? And this is key here. How long do I need to develop those skills, to learn about the groups I want to teach, to go through coaching, to read all the publications, to take all the courses I need to have, to find the role models, to achieve the goal? Depending on the goal, if it's taking the CPE, it's a shorter one. Possibly, depending on your language. But if it's teaching abroad, opening a school, becoming a doctor, right, in university, these are longer term goals. So I have to break everything into smaller steps, then I can check every day. Remember Aristotle? It's a habit. And habits include a changing mindset, perhaps. A lot of effort. It cannot be something simple. If it were simple, anyone could be a developing teacher anytime, right? It's not simple. You're different from everyone. Remember that. When you feel lonely and sad, you say, no, 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 I make the difference. I'm different. I study, I work. I'm going to get up and try again. Because we are going to get frustrated. Exactly. Focus on your dreams. Never leave them behind for anything. Exactly. Yolanda, it's brilliant. If you don't take the first step, you're never going to get there. But if you aim at getting there and you forget about looking at the first step, you might fall and never get up again, stand up again, right? Exactly. Take the first one, then the second one step at a time. You know where you want to get, but you take one step at a time. It's the light at the end of the tunnel that gets larger.
I know that my project is really huge, but my aim is to take my first step.
Exactly. Oh, brilliant, brilliant, Yolanda. And you're going to get there, little by little. You don't need to get there tomorrow, right? That's it. So how long is very important, okay? Very, very important. Because if you burn all the bridges that you need to go through before you start walking, you're never going to get there, okay?
And I think that we must be prepared. When you take the first step to go to the second, maybe a lot of things happen in this moment in life.
This is something. This is something very, very important. You have to be prepared for the unexpected.
Yes, unexpected.
And for everything that is not necessarily what you imagined, including your dream. Maybe that dream is going to become another one in your path. Uncertainty has to be embraced, okay? You need to remember that the paths are uncertain. It's not a straight line. If life were a straight line, what fun would we have? Exactly. And the steps and everything. Because if you like dancing, for example, you would never go on a straight line. And then your life is not that simple either.
Sometimes we have to share with you.
Yes. That's why I encouraged you to talk to a peer, because this is key. Okay? Obviously here you have people you not necessarily know. And the first question is role models, people you can actually talk to. Look for them, okay? Go for them, talk to them, even if you're afraid of them sometimes. Okay? Being afraid is okay. Oh, they are stars. I'm not going to approach them. Talk to them, yes. Say hi at a conference. I don't know, right? Depending on the people, okay? Some of the references here, like the TEFL equity advocates that we mentioned at the beginning, their website. If you want to find people who are fighting for, and this is going to be very important for you, Vivi, fighting for the same conditions for foreign teachers and native speakers, or so they say, of the language in different countries, because that's the issue there, right? Do English teachers have careers? It's about development. These are some of the books. There are more books on the next page, if he's copying, but I can send them to you, okay? Other books that you can actually read with opportunities for development, ideas, or about development, okay? This is my email. You can email me anytime. I don't promise I will reply tomorrow, but I will eventually reply. I enjoy that. And if I don't, you can send me a second one. Hey, Marcela, you forgot about me. It will be fine, okay? Thank you very much for coming on a Friday morning. It was a pleasure, and I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I did, okay? Thank you very much, guys. It's very nice meeting you.